Everybody, here we go. Hello. My name's Carson Meredith. It's a pleasure to be with you early this morning. Hopefully I didn't wake you all up. I apologize if I did. Coming up on 7:45. Doing a special Saturday morning update here. The winter storm is gone. Part 2, if you will. It's out of here. But we wanted to chime in with a couple of updates regarding some flurries that we still have out there this morning. And also give you a check of the roadways. Now, most main roads are okay, but I've seen several of you mention that a couple major roads are still a little dicey. So hop on here, do a quick update on those road conditions, and we'll get ready to do some more television coming up here at about 8:30. Comments are quiet, so I would imagine I woke up everybody. If you're up with me this morning, give me a shout. Tell us where you're watching from. All right, here we go. I'll start off with a couple of Trimark views. This is I-64 in the east end near the Snyder Freeway. And 64 looks good. It looks pretty good. Looks like it might be drying out just a little bit. Most of the main roads are fine. And by main roads, we mean interstates, as well as those major 4-lane highways, those surface streets, if you will. It's those secondary roads, those secondary streets, those neighborhood streets that are not good. They are either snow-covered and or slick. Are they undrivable this morning? Not necessarily, but you need to plan on plenty of extra time to take care of yourself on those side roads, those neighborhood streets. The interstates look good. Again, 64 at the freeway out in the east end, not too bad. The Watterson looks good as well. This is out near the malls, out there near Shelbyville Road. What you're going to have to watch as you're out on the interstates in particular are those bridges and overpasses. They still might have some patches of black ice that you can't necessarily see, or they look wet. But in reality, that shine is actually black ice. But for the most part, the interstates are just wet. It'll be those side streets, those neighborhood roads, and those driveways that you'll have to watch out for. If you're heading out early this morning, let's see. Looks like they switched the camera on us. What is that? That's the Snyder at Shelbyville. Same story. Looks pretty good. Wet for the most part. Melanie is watching us in Radcliffe early this morning. Appreciate you watching, Melanie. Hope all's well down there in Hardin County. Cheryl's watching us in Lebanon Junction. Let's see. Highway 150 from Palmyra to Highlander Point looks pretty clear. But the back roads in Harrison County are still covered. That is not surprising one bit. So appreciate that report. That's the main story this morning. I'll show you the traffic map because you see the interstates are fine. I will zoom in on Dixie Highway. If you were watching our sunrise newscast earlier this morning, Kirsten Foote was in the storm tracker for us, kind of showing us the road conditions, and they were focusing on the south end, southern Jefferson County, southwest Jefferson County, because Dixie Highway is not in good shape. It's drivable, but especially the southern part of Dixie Highway, down towards Cosmosdale, as you get up towards the Snyder Freeway, near Greenbelt Highway. That part of Dixie is still snow covered. So if you live in that part of Jefferson County, or if you're going to be traveling that part of Dixie Highway this morning, be really careful in that area. If you're up closer to the Watterson, up into PRP, it's not as bad. There's still some snow-covered spots, but not as many as there is in this part of the county. So just a word of caution there. I saw somebody on Facebook mention a second ago that Hurstbourne is not in the best shape either. So let me scoot to that part of the city, and we'll see if we can get Hurstbourne to pop up. And you can look, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see some yellows and oranges right there on Hurstbourne between Shelbyville and I-64. So again, it is drivable this morning. So if you have to get out early, just be careful. I say whatever time it takes you to get to where you need to be, double that time. So if it takes you 10 minutes to get to work, maybe give yourself 20 minutes to get to work this morning because of those side streets and those secondary roads as well. Let's see. Melinda says she is in Magnolia and the roads are impassable. Not surprising, Melinda, with being in further out in the region. More side roads, more country roads, if you will. So just be careful if you're in that part of the world this morning. Thanks for the report. Nancy's watching us in Lebanon. Rebecca says the roads are bad in her area as well. Rebecca, if you're still listening, if you don't mind telling me what general area you're in so we can get that report out to everybody and people that live near you. That way they know what the roads are like where you're at. Michelle is in Bardstown. Jacob says Litchfield got quite a bit of snow. Looks like 4+. You know what? Doggone it. I left the snowfall map out of my hit here, my forecast. Let me add it in real quick. Since I know some of you are asking, just how much snow did we see last night? Well, Litchfield, Jacob, was one of the hot spots, or at least nearby, where you see these darker blue zones in northern Grayson County, down into Breckenridge, Hardin, Harrison, Meade County. That's where we saw really the most amount of snow with this second winter storm, around 4 to 5 inches. I think the most I've seen so far is 5 inches total down in southern Breckenridge County. Here in Louisville, we measured 3 inches of snow at Ali International, which is the official measurement that will go down for this winter storm. Did this storm underperform? A lot of people questioning that, especially south of us. It did a tiny bit, just a smidge, but all in all, we expected around 3 to 5 inches for most of the region, and that's exactly what we got. And we'll dive more into some of the historic numbers tonight on Wave Weather Now. I'll do another update here on all of our social platforms this evening. But we are currently here in Louisville at the 8th snowiest January in history. And the snowiest January we've seen since the 60s around Louisville. How about that? Certainly historic. And again, we'll kind of walk through those numbers later on tonight. I usually, if you're not used to seeing me on weekends on Wave Weather Now, tune in around 7:15 tonight. We always do a chat around that time on weekends. But that's kind of what we saw with Winter Storm Part 2 last night. The winters just to the south and west here of Louisville. Let's see who else is chiming in. Kathy's always watching. Good morning. Hope you're well, my friend. Nancy says, please tell me this is the last snow event of the year. I'm over it. I get it. I get it, Nancy, but I cannot say that. We've got a few more little snow chances to talk about, one of which could be tomorrow evening into early Monday. In fact, we got a few flurries out there right now that I'll show you here in just a second. Carla's asking about Taylorsville. I got to pick somebody up in Taylorsville. Not sure if not sure if I want to. Hopefully that's because of the road conditions, Carla. But if anybody is in that part of the world, if anybody's watching us in Spencer County, post in the comments. Help Carla out, because I haven't heard anything about road conditions down in Spencer County. I would imagine that Taylorsville Road itself is okay. It would be those side streets once you get off of the main highway that might be a little tricky. All right, so let's go on to radar. And I'll show you the flurries that we still have out there this morning. Now, these are very light flurries. All right, it's not going to accumulate much, nothing more than maybe another little dusting on top of the car. That's it. But as this low pressure continues to slowly move out of here, we've still got some leftover moisture in the atmosphere for a few flurries. And this particular band of flurries continues. It started up in southern Illinois, and it's just kind of made the dive south and east throughout the morning. I'll put radar in motion over the last 3 hours. You can see it's just kind of slowly progressing to the south and east. We've had a few flurries here in Louisville this morning, and those flurries stretch down into Nelson County, Kentucky, down near Bardstown, of course. Springfield, you might be seeing a few flurries. There's still some lingering flurries up here in Orange County, Indiana, up towards Paoli, north of Paoli, into Corydon, Lanesville, Georgetown. You might be seeing a few flurries flying around. Now, the radar I've got up right now kind of enhances what the flurries look like. Let me give you a different radar setting, and you can see that while there might be a lot of flurries flying above our heads, some of those flurries may not be getting to the ground. So again, we're not overly concerned about additional accumulations or anything like that. Maybe another tiny little dusting. That's all we're dealing with for the next few hours. And I really think past noon today, most of these flurries will be gone for the most part. But you notice most of the flurries now stretch from Louisville down into, let's say, Bullitt County. You see better where some of these flurries are. Mount Washington, Shepherdsville, down towards Bardstown, Willisburg, Springfield. That's where most of the flurries are flying at the moment. Very light. Not much more accumulations expected. Speaking of Springfield, the roads are not too bad in some parts of Washington County, so that's very, very good. Let's see here. Amy says, good morning from Memphis, Indiana. Hello there, Amy. Hope you're well up there in Memphis. Let's see. Charlotte's watching from Greenbrier, which is between Bardstown and Loretto. Might be seeing a few flurries out your way, Charlotte. Tracy says, how's 264? It's good. It's fine. It's mostly wet. There might be a slick spot on a couple bridges or overpasses. So as long as you take it slow, you should be fine on 264 this morning. Let's see. Eva's asking about the drive up towards Cincinnati. I would assume that would be I-71 that you're wanting to know about, Eva. Again, most of the interstates are in good shape. You'll just have to watch out for those slick spots once you get off the interstate. Well, you have to watch for bridges and overpasses on 71 itself, but the worst of the trouble will be on those side roads and secondary streets. Let's see here. Rebecca's watching us near Shawnee. Jim's in Corydon. Still got snow-covered roads out there, at least 4 inches of snow. We appreciate that report, Jim. That lines up with what we've seen with our snowfall map or our amounts, the reports that we've received, where it was kind of that little zone just west and southwest of Louisville that saw the most snow. So we appreciate that. Checking in from Carrollton. May have not gotten all that much there in Carrollton. Probably so. But again, some of those roads are still probably not in good shape, especially in Carrollton, since you guys live a little further out of Louisville. So keep that in mind. If you're going to venture out today, how much did they get in Highview? Car still covered in ice and snow. So the Weather Service office is kind of close to Highview. It's nearby. They measured about 3.2 inches of snow at the Weather Service office out there off Smyrna and the Snyder. So around 3 inches was the popular number in Louisville and the suburbs as well. Anita needs to get to work. hope you're doing well this morning, Anita. No more snow. This is all we've got the rest of the day is flurries. And I expect most of these flurries that you see on radar to be done around midday. And then as we head into the early afternoon, there could still be a couple of flakes, but not as many flakes as what we're seeing at the moment. So there's that. Amy's asking if anybody knows about roads in Bardstown. Amy, I don't have our SkyTrack camera up in Bardstown, but I can tell you that the main roads in Bardstown look good. Neighborhood roads, I would imagine, are still not great. But again, if you just take it slow this morning, you're going to be fine. Maybe you got to go somewhere that's 15 minutes away. Double that time. Give yourself 30 minutes instead, just so that you give yourself plenty of time. You're not rushing, because the more you rush, obviously, the more you put yourself at risk to get in a wreck. Linda says she's seeing flurries where she's at in Shepherdsville. Thanks for the report. Lines up with what we're seeing on radar. Joe sums it up well. It has been a very January so far this year, and we're only 11 days in, right? We still got more potentially on the way. Let's see. Flurries in Bradfordsville, 4 inches of snow last night. We appreciate that report, my friend. All right, so everybody's got a good idea of how the roads look and how the rest of the day is going to unfold. Next 12 hours, 20% chance for these lingering flurries through noon. Once we get past noon, I really think most of the flurries will be done. Could there be a couple of flakes that linger? Absolutely, but not quite as many as what we're seeing now because this system will continue to get a move on. I'll show you that well here on Futurecast, actually. 10 a.m., still some flakes flying around. But once we get past 10 a.m., most everything looks good. Temperatures may touch freezing or get just above it this afternoon here in the city. Right now, I've got the forecast high of 31. But I will tell you our current temperature here in Louisville is 30 on the dot, which is a little warmer than what we had originally in the forecast. So there's a possibility that we could get near freezing today. We haven't been above freezing since Sunday evening. Even then, that was only for like 5 minutes. But I don't expect to see a ton of melting today. In fact, that's our next map here. I'll show you our next graphic is our melting forecast. So today, most of us will stay below freezing, which means the slick spots will remain on the side roads. So this morning, a lot of side roads are covered or just totally slick or iced over. There might be some relief in that department as the day goes on. It might just be more slick spots as opposed to just being completely snow covered or ice covered. It's not really until tomorrow, though, when we see substantial improvement on those side roads. That's because we are all going to get above freezing tomorrow, for sure. Celebrate. 36 is our forecast tomorrow here in the city. So it's still going to be chilly, obviously, but I'll take 36 over 26 any day, especially the way things have gone over the last week. So we should see quite a bit of improvements over the next 24 hours, especially tomorrow. That will be short-lived, however, as more snow showers come back into play by Sunday night and especially Monday morning. Of course, we're all trying to get back to work, trying to get back to school Monday morning. And there could be some snow showers around. I'll tell you, the Monday morning snow chance, it's there. A lot of you will see at least flurries Monday morning, but it does not appear to be, significant accumulating snow at this point. Just another little coating is what we expect with that Monday morning. Let's see. Shelly's asking, is the snow next week going to add up to anything? We kind of touched on that for Monday. If anything, maybe a coating. The worst case scenario, I think, for Monday would be a half inch of snow. That's not much, especially compared to what we've seen. But we'll watch it. Of course, we'll keep watching it. Cameron's asking, is there another winter storm possibly in the future? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to say that just yet, Cameron, but next weekend does have our attention. I'll leave it at that for now. All right, so let me hop to the 10-day real quick, and then we'll wrap this up because I've got to get ready to do TV again here in about 27 minutes or so. So again, a few flurries still flying around this morning. Interstates are fine. Most main roads are fine. It's those side streets and those secondary roads that are still not good, whether they're snow covered or they have ice on them still. They're not undrivable, but if you are going to head out this morning, just give yourself plenty of extra time. Double your drive time. If you normally takes you 10 minutes to get somewhere, give yourself 20 minutes just so you can navigate those side streets slowly and safely. All right. We're all back above freezing tomorrow. There's a tiny chance we get to freezing in Louisville today. Most of us will not. We're all above freezing tomorrow, which should allow things to melt nicely. Maybe not totally melt, but give us good progress. And then we have that small snow chance Monday morning, and that will set the stage for some bitter, bitter cold yet again as we get towards Tuesday and Wednesday. And then, of course, we have next weekend to keep an eye on as well. We'll dive more into those components of the forecast coming up on Wave News Sunrise. It starts at 8:30. We'll be on the air until 10 a.m. And then I will do another update here on Wave Weather Now and all of our social media platforms later this evening, hopefully around 7 or 7:15. You'll get the notification on the weather app or on the Wave News app later on tonight as we talk more about this roller coaster that rolls on. January definitely feeling like January here in 2025. All right, that's going to do it for now, guys. Appreciate you tuning in early this morning. Again, if you missed anything, give it a couple minutes and this video will be up and ready to go for you to replay. If not, we will see you again here on TV at 8:30 and then back here in the Wave Weather Now studios around, I'd say, 7 o'clock this evening. Be careful heading out. Give yourself plenty of extra time. Stay warm and have a great Saturday, everybody.